Hello everyone. Very warm welcome. Very good afternoon. This is another session of live markets with Mohak, and that is me. And very interesting things we are going to talk about today. So I hope all of you are ready. I can see a lot of new faces over here, which is always very nice. And a lot of people are coming from, even my past batches. So some of them are my students. So that is very nice to see them again. So guys, all of you ready for this session? If you have any questions, there's a question box over there and there's a button out there to raise your hand. So show me by raising your hands, because if I ask you to raise your hands, you can raise your hands then, right? Okay, thank you so much. And there is a message box out there, so you can send me any question if you feel like. I will take up all the questions as time passes by. If I'm in the middle of saying something, then I will take the question a bit later, but I will take up and read up all the questions, right? If you want to ask anything conceptual, very good. If you want to ask something stock specific, then do add on a connotation of what exactly you want to talk from the conceptual point of view, right? So having said that, let's begin. The last time I was live in one of these kind of sessions, which you all can catch up on YouTube. So specifically, go back to my YouTube channel, go back to the past videos. You can go all the way from the starting, from the very beginning, the first video itself. It is very informative, substantial, and some videos are more towards a topic. Some videos are about overall technical trading, and some of these recent videos, quite a few of these you will see the live market sessions, etc. So all of them are very informative, and if you want to just go and learn without any hesitation, just go ahead and watch those videos. First of all, I speak from a very real point of view. Okay, I don't believe the fact that everything you see on the textbook is exactly the way it works out in the market. It never is. In fact, most of the times, what happens is it is the opposite. And in this hurriedness of doing things, people sort of misperceive and hurry themselves into trades. How many of you over here do practice any kind of technical analysis or any kind of strategy based on the movement of prices over here? Can I have a raise of hands? How many of you actually practice something on the basis of price movement? A strategy based on price movement? Okay, some of you are here. How many of you, I'm putting all hands down now, how many of you are absolutely new to technical analysis? Can I have a raise of hands? There's a button out there, you can raise your hand. Yeah, absolutely new to technical analysis. Okay, okay, relatively very new. Okay, okay, I see a lot of hands raised now. Genuinely, if you're new to technical analysis, yes, this will be anyway informative, because I'm going to take up some very basic pointers, and definitely you should go through all the videos. Secondly, the aspect of market, when we were seeing things last time I was live, I took up some stocks, I took up some trades, I took up some explanations that okay, what are the similarities you are able to see across multiple trades. I explained my bank nifty view, which was much requested, so I explained it through the aspects of Elliott wave theory also. So when I had come up with a view over here or over here, I posted on Telegram that see the bank nifty is having one of its strongest movements in a lot of long time, and this wave is going to be really mind boggling to people who want to trade. And what happens is, in real life, okay, in general, in the social structure you're born in, one of the kind of things which people are feeling is easy to think, कोई चीज का दाम कम होने से उसकी डिमांड बढ़ेगी. People think that if something falls in price, the demand of it should increase. Well, that is not the case. What happens is that when something falls in price in the markets, the demand of it decreases, and demand of it increases when something rises in price. Okay, that is why the trends which are present in the market tend to keep going on, and without realizing, people actually take up the easier trade. Right now, what is the easier trade? If anybody could tell me that if the market has gone very high, okay, the easier trade people would say is let's go short, right? Because if something has gone up, let it go down. But that is not how professional traders think. The professional traders trade with the trend. The professional traders trade with the trend. Because if you take up any kind of movement, if you take up, let's take this chart up, this is a weekly chart of Nifty. Any kind of movement, the maximum moves will be the ones which are with the trend. The most high probability in terms of in on overall trend, the strongest move, the swiftest move, the biggest moves with highest magnitudes will all be the ones which are with the trend. And if you try to go against the trend, then there are chances that you might hit a stop loss and those trades can go wrong. They can lose your money. The thing is, again, professional traders are not ones who are really worried about losing money on any one trade. They are the ones who are looking for a bigger picture, an overall series of trades where you can make or lose money. Lastly, a professional technical trader is very independent in their view. A professional technical trader is a very independent person. You have to make independent decisions. You cannot be too biased. Even what we show on Telegram, and those who are watching this on YouTube can subscribe to my Telegram channel. The link is below. Okay. Uh, those who are even watching Telegram or other social media spaces where you can get ideas and trading ideas. Even in my Telegram channel, the ideas are all about nothing but a very demonstrative idea. There are a lot of trades which I take, my students take, which are not there on Telegram. We try to follow a particular genre of trades and whatever falls under that. Sometimes what happens are many trades which you're getting, so we cut down on the number of trades we post. So that is something which is demonstrative, and these videos are actually far more conceptual and holistic because you can apply any of these things which I'm saying to any market phase and any market environment, right? Any kind of trading scenario. So let me just switch off my camera. We can make the screen bigger to look at now. And yes, let's talk about how Nifty has been moving and how some stock specifics have been moving. So last time I remember I spoke about the area of 11,100 around zone had been taken out, and with the simplest and the most basic idea that interaction points in the markets are very important to look at. Now, what are the interaction points in the market? The interaction points are places where the buyers and sellers have a lot of engagement. Either it is a long lasting engagement or it is a sudden engagement which turns the picture around. So if you take up a place like this from where the market has fallen very suddenly and has given a lot of magnitude of move also, what will happen is that the next time market comes over here, there will be a tendency for the market to halt over here. Now if we consider the power of the move which is coming from here and it has taken out these areas, we can say yes, this is extremely bullish because it is now showing us that during this entire structure which was being made, the market has gathered the steam to move so high. Now when the market was gathering so much steam to move so high, okay, we saw various patterns and various technical inputs which were giving us, okay, here this could be a buy, here this could be a buy, that kind of thing. And many of these times I was posting that also, like for example in the case of Bank Nifty I posted that, right? So this is the idea. Okay, now somebody is asking about today's Gale trade, right? Today's trade on Gale. Actually the trade actually opened up today morning, Mr. Karthik. um, I will just show you the chart of Gale. Everything has a logic in technical analysis. Okay, the different concepts of technical analysis, and when I teach and when I trade, the primary thing I focus on, the very primary thing I focus on is to add on multiple variables and do not just focus on one variable. How many of you over here have read some material on technical analysis and taken a trade in a hurry? Kindly raise your hands. Right? Now the point is that if you read some material on technical analysis and you end up taking a trade in a hurry, that is not going to be something which I would really encourage, right? Now let's take a chart of Gale first of all. And let me just draw some interaction points which are very, very important and very, very clear. Now, interaction points need to be clear. That is the first basis. So we can understand how a strong interaction between uh, markets, sorry, between the buyers and sellers are happening at this level, right? If I know that this 344 to 45 level is a very strong engagement point, and as I just told you in another scenario, taking up another market phase, right? When I told you that in this engagement, if we notice, what is the primary thing is that when the price is going to come back over that area, price is going to have some sort of memory that okay, I fell from here, I fell from here, I fell from here, and but then when it is going to ultimately a move that's going to break out of those areas, right? uh, that time it is going to be creating a lot of fireworks, and this is what happened today in the case of Gale, right? So if you want to really, capture these kind of movements, the primary thing which you need to do is get back to the basics. First is to get back to the basics. Okay, I'm going to open a 15-minute chart of Gale and show you all. This is a 15-minute chart of Gale. Now, if I take the 15-minute chart of Gale, now that earlier one from the interaction viewpoint was the hourly chart. Okay. Now, if I take the 15-minute chart of Gale and I zoom in, I see what is happening in the last 1, 2, and 3 days is a very strong cup and handle pattern. Now, this is one of the technical trading patterns. So, first point was on the hourly chart, I got strong interaction point evidence. Number 2 point was in alignment with the interaction point, a smaller time frame is going to give me a pattern breakout, which is insanely good, because we are mixing up two variables together. Now let's take up the daily chart, because I like to take multiple time frames when I'm doing my analysis, and then finally when I'm taking a trade I like to keep it in one time frame and follow it in that time frame, right? Now, how many of you over here understand this point? Listen to this clearly what I'm about to say. The markets move as if small gears are moving the bigger gears. So how many of you have seen a gear? Raise your hand. How many of you have seen a gear and gears are moving, etc. Right? So, okay, many of you have seen a gear, right? Now, what I mean to say is I'm going to just do something very different, which I've not really done in any of these live sessions. I'm going to just Google gear images and show you on a fresh page what exactly I'm going to say, right? I'm sorry, I don't know what language this is, but my Google keeps changing language. Okay, this is how the gears move, right? These are the gears. And the smaller gears, in cases like these, the smaller gears are actually moving the bigger gears, right? This is how the price tends to move when the smaller time frames are influencing the bigger time frames. And within this area, the market is actually gathering the steam to go very strongly higher. Right? Within this area, the market is actually gathering the steam to go very strongly higher. Now on the daily chart, coming back on the daily chart, what was very important was, uh, Partha, I will just get back to you. So what was very important over here on the daily chart, and Partha just asked the question, how do I choose my trades? Now, number one, Partha, I take a set of stocks which I'm quite fluent with, or which I like to track and trade. I'm okay with the volatility of while I'm trading, and it's quite a big set of stocks. In that big of set of stocks, every day I view the daily chart and do my analysis on the daily chart. Now, every day only one daily candle is adding up, so it is not something which takes a lot of time, right? Now, the second thing which I do is, after I see enough evidences on daily chart, I will zoom into the hourly chart and go ahead and do my analysis. So first of all, in case of daily chart of Gale, 3 days back I was seeing that there is something which I call the hammer pattern, which we call the hammer pattern, right? It's called a hammer pattern, which was present over here. Now a hammer pattern is a candlestick pattern. Now I'm inviting the concept of basic candlesticks. Now the basic candlestick pattern, and just to tell you all, in our course, the paid course which I do, I go in very deep details with candlesticks, and all the different scenarios are covered. And each candle has many different scenarios. It's not just that, okay, I see a hammer pattern, so therefore it is bullish. Nothing like that. Now, in this case, the hammer pattern is highlighting to me one very, very strong point, that if the anatomy of a candle I take into place, that if I just cut open this candle and make this candle into a hourly chart, oh sorry, not an hourly chart, let me make it to a 5 minute chart. Okay, if I'm going to cut this candle open, this stands for 1 day. This is the opening, this is the closing, which is a green because the close is slightly higher than the open, and there's a very long wick. So this would mean that within the day the price has went down and given a very strong pullback and closed slightly higher. This is how the price action is what I can already get from this candle. So when I see that, what essence do I get over here? That have buyers overwhelm the sellers or sellers overwhelm the buyers? What is the essence I'm getting from this? Who is stronger, buyers or sellers? Can I have some answers, please? Can I have some participation, please? What do you think is stronger if I get this essence? Buyers or sellers? And I want everybody to participate because that shows your eagerness. I'm already getting quite a few replies. Thank you. Buyers, 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 buyers. Everybody is saying buyers. Right? Now, when buyers are stronger, in this case, this is one of the evidences. I'm just trying to match up the evidences. Like a detective, I'm seeing the evidences. So when buyers are stronger, I've got one evidence of which chart? The daily chart, right? That there is a potential that buyers are started to overwhelm the seller. So a battle has begun, a war has begun, and the battle has just got a few, the war has got the first battle going on, right? And this is how when I got to open the daily chart, this is how it seems like. So the market opened, slashed down, the entire day it just pulled back strongly up and closed higher than the previous close. So if I zoom in, this is the day actually on the hourly chart. This is how it looks like, right? So this is the first evidence of a strong structure. Now, is this very, very valid? That okay, can I expect that the candlestick can give me a flow of movement? The flow of movement is not possible because we have a strong resistance which is constricting this area. A flow of movement following this candlestick is not possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, sorry, I'll correct myself. It is not probable as much. It is not very highly probable because there's a strong resistance area which is holding up over here and it's constructing the price. However, we realize that obviously when there is a fight, there will be some ups and downs, and we gotta wait for some evidences. Now, one of the primary things of candlesticks when I teach Japanese candlesticks, the hammer, I specifically talk about that the lower end of the range of this entire lower wick. So the powerful area of the hammer, which we can see, as I just told you, the hammer allows us on the daily chart to actually get a very good idea of what happened throughout the day, right? This area is a very strong area because we saw a very strong line of buyers standing up, right? And when the price is coming to this zone, it is interesting for me to see what is happening. So the price dips again, corrects again, comes to this zone. Obviously, now this area is being protected by strong buyers because this is a strong wick and this is an existing resistance. So this area is being protected by resistance, right? So when there are two areas, okay, it's like it's like the war going on right here, right? And that this is the seller's area, this is the buyer's area. Now the buyers need to enter the seller's area to actually just go into that territory and penetrate more. Now in that process, when it comes back down and then goes up again, here is where I apply further analysis on the 15-minute chart, which happened to be yesterday. Okay. Now, this some of my students can understand very, very, very well what I'm trying to say over here, what I'm saying over here. Okay, guys, just to let you all know that there's a 15 session course I teach. And in that 15 session course, which is a full-fledged course on technical analysis, it's an online course just like this. After the 15 sessions are over, mind you all, after the 15 sessions are over, after the course is over, all the past students, I've been teaching for 4 years, all the students on the last 4 years, every month we have a meeting, online meeting, where we discuss new things, details, doubts, take up one topic and go into it sometimes, and these kind of things. So if you join me in the paid course, it's a lifetime affair. It is not something which is short term. It is not something that, okay, you come, you do the course, okay, tata, bye bye, nothing like that. All the students are still in touch, and I can already see that even in today's class there are six or seven of my past students who got the time to come, so, and one or two of the current batch students also. So that is very nice. Oh, hi Jerome, nice to see you. Nice. So this is what I'm trying to say, that the entire idea is of a lifetime, right? And anyway, so what happened is, in our meeting which we had recently, because of that once a month meet, we took up a topic and we in very details went ahead after the strong green candle scenario. So we took up one scenario where we see a strong green candle and what happens after that. Okay, and we took about 7 8 scenarios just as examples. This absolutely fits in. Now this is the 15 minutes chart. I would like to zoom in a little bit over here so that you get a clear picture, right? Now on the 15-minute chart, this is where the analysis becomes very accurate, because if you need to trade the markets and want to be paid by the markets, because market pays well, right? You need to put in that hard work. You need to put in that hard work, right? Now I will keep it in very simple terms, not to get very complicated jargon or explanation. But let me just take this area as a very strong interaction zone or a range of price movement. Now this range of price movement is occurring where? It is occurring in the 15-minute chart. So it is occurring where there's already a battle going on between the buyers and the sellers. There's a battle going on in the between buyers and sellers. If you take up my last to last YouTube video on the live session, I spoke about IndusInd Bank, and I spoke about it when IndusInd Bank was really low. It was over here. Yeah. On the date of 1st of March, I guess you would get my YouTube video. That day, I've spoken about this stock. And since then, you can see how crazy this move has been. Okay, from 1494 to all the way to 1734 is a high. Sorry, 1800 plus, because anyway it went above 1800. Yeah. So this is how the maximum move happened after this tight, tight buying and selling, with tight engagement between buyers and sellers when that happens. So when these tightening happens, okay, and when we do it in the course, we also add on various other factors like indicators to it. RSI, Bollinger Bands. There's a very different way we do moving averages in. As we are talking, Gale is moving higher and higher and making new highs, independent of the market, because market is not really performing very bullish, right? This was the second Q. This was the third Q in a 15-minute time frame. So when this came about yesterday, I already had my eyes on it, and when I did my daily chart homework, I zoomed into the hourly, I zoomed into the 15-minute, and the next day morning, I am prepared if something interesting happens. Now, in the morning, one more thing which I noticed is that, and right now it's not happening with BPCL, for example. A lot of people say that a lot of sectors move together. Yes, there could be knee-jerk reaction, but I keep the fundamentals aside a little bit while I'm, uh, doing this, right? So over here, the fundamental aspect that, okay, sectors are moving together is there. In the morning, this entire sector had a opening which was little green, right? But Gale was the one with the perfect price evidence which I was looking for, the analysis evidences which I was looking for. And when this broke out and created fireworks further ahead, this point where it was taken out was a big entry. Now we see the same range which is over here, and on the hourly also there is a range present, right? And these are validated by candlesticks and strong interaction point. Here I'm keeping it so simple because it's a YouTube video. which is going to be seen by a lot of people who may be seeing it for the first time or don't know have or don't have a lot of background of technicals. So I'm not putting a lot of analysis which is based on indicators, but still, because I've done this before on Bollinger, I'm going to just take up the Bollinger Band, right? I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart, and this is the aspect of Bollinger Band which we can see. So there are about 7-8 scenarios of Bollinger Band which we have discussed in the course. Some of you over here, right? So how many of you who are new and who have not learned from me about Bollinger can relate to this? And how many of you who have already learned from me can relate to this? Can you have some comments, please? Can I have some comments, please? Especially the old students, right? Okay, Ravi is asking Mike. Okay, so the next batch of the course starts on the 27th of April, Ravi. And hi, Jay. Yes, I will see you at the course, right? And 27th of April, the next batch is starting. Ravi, you can send in your number over here. My team will contact you if you want further details. The fees is only 12,500 rupees. Exactly. So Jerome and Sachin have got it right. So it's already started having its pleasure walk on the band, and it has already started. After consolidation on the range of the upper band and the middle band. So this is something which is very important, right? Because the indicators give us an idea about what the direction is about to be sometimes. Now, if you have to use indicators creatively for that reason. And on the hourly chart, we see that this consolidation, which is during this middle band region, which we again have got into details in the course, uh, this consolidation is also an added evidence. So when we see these multiple evidences, we get very clear. And you see how much the volumes are today. This is one of the highest volumes in the last 10 odd days. Highest volume, and the market is not even closed yet. There would be more volumes adding up over here. Okay. So you can see how the trade actually unfolds. And every time I do these live sessions, some of the trade which I have spoken about recently or on that day on Telegram is shared about. Last time I was here, I spoke about Maruti. And Maruti was, I don't exactly, yeah, it was somewhere around here uh, when I was on Telegram, right? I think it was this day or this day, something like that, when I was on YouTube last. So you can see the evidences which got from here was this zone of strong interaction and the candlesticks which I explained, the cluster of candle concepts, etc. Now you can just go back to the YouTube video and see. So look at the way Maruti is moving. And then further ahead, in the recent few days, again when Maruti was something I spoke about, recent few days, there was further analysis with a Bollinger Squeeze, and as we can see over here, a range breakout going hand in hand with the Bollinger Squeeze. So we can understand how these things are actually similar in nature. They are not the same. Most people think, most people think that technical analysis is going to show me the same patterns every time. No, it is not so. It is similar. It is not the same. History tends to rhyme. It doesn't tend to repeat, right? So Dinesh is asking, sir, any basic technical knowledge required for the course? No, Dinesh. In these 15 sessions, we take up from the very basic and we go and escalate to the more advanced level over time. So what happens in this 15 session course? I will just explain. The Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. These are how the classes go. So the entire course is 2 months long, and roughly 2 months, I mean to say. So in this entire period, you get after every Saturday, Sunday, you get a lot of time to actually revise, to do a lot of practice. I also guide you all with the kind of practice to be done, right? And definitely, you don't need anything before that. There, in fact, I'll be more happy if you don't know anything about technicals before joining the course, because then there's no clutter, and then you don't have to unlearn anything, right? So don't worry about that. And yes, you can send in your number. Those who are interested in this course can send their numbers in, and they can, you know, be contacted. What is the charting software I use? The charting software I'm using is a Spider software. Well, just to tell you all, as far as the charting software is concerned, yes, it is good to have a good professional software, but it is not something which is compulsory. It is not something which is you can have a free platform like investing.com or tradingview.com, right? And you can definitely use that. And the more important point is to stick to one charting platform so that your eyeballs are actually used to that particular charting platform and not to jump too much. Those students who join the course are given a free trial of this software. uh, a long free trial is given just to get the experience. If you want to experience the software like that, and this has got facilities like where I can have my own scanners, etc., which I use, and those facilities I can design my own scanner, etc. Right? So this is something which is always been very nice with the software. Any questions regarding my Gale explanation? Okay, I've got some questions. No, zero. I personally do not prefer for charting. Unbiased view I'm giving, right, Gary? The streaming needs to be there, the scaling needs to be there, and the look of the chart. Your it should not be the real time should not the chart should not keep jumping around. It should be smooth. It should be easy to easy to watch. And see, one of the things with real time charts is people tend to get very impulsive, right? Um, this is something which you must avoid. And more than the chart in that case, your reading is important. How your reading is going about, right? My view on the Nifty. So, guys, my view on the Nifty, somebody's asking. First of all, my view on the Nifty at the moment is that it is not a very clear signal as to a trend. So, we should be in the markets when we have clarity about the trend. And it's not just about uptrend and downtrend. There are these phases of the market when there are sideways trend. And in these phases, the particular thing is you will not see a lot of participation. You will not see a lot of breadth. A lot of breadth means that a lot of stocks are moving at the same time, right? So you will not see that. In fact, many of the stocks which have been there on my homework radar, those stocks also have not really moved so much or given those kind of signals which I'm awaiting. The participation will be more sector based or more stock specific based. Like we saw one stock which is given a very large movement relative to a lot of other stocks which I'm awaiting movements on, right? So the other one more thing which I've been talking about on Telegram, this trade on LNT, right? Now this is a trade on LNT. Again, simple basis I'm explaining it, but the trade actually had triggered slightly earlier and the confirmation came and the break and sustenance above these zones, right? So trying to keep it conservative on Telegram, but here I will tell you one thing, that this is the daily chart, right? Again, for some days back we saw something on Kotak Bank. One second, right? So when you're against the larger trend, there are some room you need to give to flexibility because of the chance of a false breakout. But other than that, LNT is a short below this area and it has been dragging down. It's just gone 5 rupees down at the moment. It's been dragging down since then, right? So, and my view on the Nifty on the weekly chart, we have seen a doji candle. Now, doji candle is not a candle which is telling us about a particular trend, and we have seen it at the lifetime high area. So, as I said, after a point where market has fallen so drastically, these points are going to be important points. These are important zones. So, you look at the high over here, it's 751.8. This is 761. So, it's just 10 points higher high it has made, and then after it has rested. It is resting in a sideways motion, which, from my perspective, as a person who follows the trend, would be to look for bullish evidences, rather than waiting for the market to go down and sitting on short positions, too many, etc. And for the last 1 or 2 days also, it has been a little lackluster because you don't get a lot of trades all the time in the market, right? So this is something which is particularly uh, particularly my idea that, okay, when the sideways market, it's best to do your preparation, best to do your homework, right? One of you have just sent your number. My team will contact you. The rest can also send their contact number, so my team can contact them about the course if they are interested. My view on Kotak Bank, Vipa is asking. So my view on Kotak Bank is, right now, again, there is no view. We are in complete sideways. There was a false breakout over here. Where this move could have extrapolated, and this breakout was not sustained, and immediately it started falling. Now there is a trick with the false breakouts. A lot of these are not very uncommon in markets and some market phases. False breakouts need to be handled with quick reactions. So a trader needs to react to how the price movement is happening. So when you see things are not sustaining, you can always square off the trade. And when it comes back, if it tends to go up again, then you can re-enter the trade, right? Currently, my view on Bank Nifty is also mildly bullish, given the fact that we have strong green candles which are there on the weekly chart with significant volumes, and we are hovering around on a range which is the absolute, in the sky high levels. So when these levels are taken out very strongly, I do not have very bearish views on Nifty or Bank Nifty. But it is just that you have to wait. Um, Jay is asking, so do you teach strategy also? Jay, what do you mean on strategy? All the things which I teach are absolutely technical analysis strategies only, right? Do you mean something else other than technical analysis? Okay, trading. Yes. So obviously, because we are, first of all, we are taking up different variables, right? Now, when you give evidence to one variable, what is going to happen is that that evidence is going to be a cue for you to enter, right? When that cue is present with a high weightage, you take the evidences of that variable and take that as a cue to enter and your stop loss. Okay. Now, obviously, as your Jay is already enrolled in the course, the course is about to start on the 27th of April. So it's okay, Jay. We are going to get into things anyway. So let me not beat around the bush. We are going to do a lot of stuff. And obviously, when the strategies come together, the variables come together, you will be shown umpteen examples of the past, of the current markets. Okay. So that will be taken care of. And I think we have spoken on the phone also, right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any book I recommend, Gary? Yeah, so Gary, the thing is, there are many technical analysis books. And last time also, when I said that, technical analysis books, you see my last video, that I've gone in details with the books, right? So I would say you see that last video. I've gone in details and spoken about number of books. Training psychology books also I recommend, other than this thing. Right? Vipa, right now those triggers are not there on Kotak Bank. So yes, it may be. So if you have taken it as a conservative trade, it is better that you stick. You know, it is better that you stick to a certain stop loss. But here there are not any more evidences of immediate buying coming in, right? So it might trigger up. Okay, so you have a protective stop. The recent lows could be one of the logical ones, but I would not say it's a very good buy at the moment if you want an immediate movement. And your entry price, as you told me, is a little higher, so might have to think about it. Oh, no problem, Gary. No problem. Actually, I'm just saying because it will be more details. So last time and last to last time. So last two, three videos you see on YouTube. I'll share the YouTube link on Telegram, and there you will be able to see. I've spoken about books, what to do, and how to go about learning. And definitely, I'm always even in our student group. So after the entire course is done, there's something called the inner circle group, which a lot of students are part of, who have all studied from me. So we keep sharing a lot of material and interesting things uh, in order to learn and culture learning, right? So guys, pretty much a lackluster sort of market today. Somebody is asking me about Yes Bank, my view on Yes Bank. My view on Yes Bank at the moment as a short-term trader is to wait and watch as to how the next high could get to unfold. On the weekly chart, on the basis of that, I'm still bullish, but again, I'm going to see how the high is going to unfold, because on the weekly chart I can see that I'm overhead, important resistances are right overhead. So not going to be too adventurous with it would be my view. And obviously the same goes for the trading point of view, right? So when there is a sideways trend, that could also continue for some time. It is not something that you should look for a trade in a hurry or that kind of thing, right? Okay, then I have somebody asking my view on BHEL. Some people are asking multiple views, so I'm taking up one by one, right? I'm taking up one by one. Again, BHEL yesterday, you see how it has moved. And another cup and handle pattern over here, another cup and handle pattern over here, right? One of my students recently, he came up with a brilliant idea on PC Jewelers, which is again skyrocketing today. In fact, few minutes back only I was seeing it again. Right now it's skyrocketing. It's 15% up for the day. And when we discussed it in our student groups, it was 90 rupees. And this is the point of entry. So we can, I'm very happy to see the kind of progress students are making and what the outcomes are coming out to be. So PC Jewelers was there, and I'm not getting too much into the logic of every trade. I'm taking specific trades and going to the logic, but I just want to get back to you, okay, that this is how these things happen. Now again, BHEL, as I said, when it is moving with a lot of gusto, covering all these interaction points, then this is the time to actually see where the entry points over here are triggering or not. So when it's breaking out, it is definitely triggering, and these are the entries. Now the second point is, after you see this kind of a candlestick, right? Some people may say this is a morning star, etc. No, it is not, but it is a trend line breakout. So on the daily chart, you see a trend line breakout with a strong green candle, which is a very strong flow of movement. It suggests a lot of flow of movement. Now, there could be a chance that it could correct, obviously, but this is the strong flow of movement with a strong volume candle. Okay, so this is high volumes compared to the last 7 8 days, very high volumes. So these give you very strong evidence of how things move. And as I'm speaking, the skyrocketing. Obviously, the more logical this thing is to go for new highs, which seems like from the look of the chart, right? So, and the rest depends on how you put your trailing stop losses. Then you have the pattern target, which is again one of the points where you could wait for the price to come about. Yeah, the course content detail will be shared with you on WhatsApp, Mr. Gary. You can send in your number and my team will get back to you with all the details. Right? Okay, I have some backlog of questions which are there about stock specific. And then some questions are commonly coming from the IT space, which has been a little bit of a lackluster space. So among the IT space, I'll take up some stocks and discuss. Okay, these. Wait a second. Let me check out. Okay, so first of all, there's no clear trend, and one of the small intermarket relationship with IT is of the USD INR, which is again not really very bullish at the moment. So we're not seeing a lot of clarity about IT. Somebody asked about Infosys also. So again, Infosys, there's not much clarity if it is going to continue its long-term trend like this. But one stock which has been on my radar and it's been significantly amazing for the trades for us, for all the students and myself, we have tracked it very strongly and came up with this amazing idea on Wipro. Wipro has been a recently good mover. I do expect a slightly higher levels coming up, even though some corrections and sideways movement is possible. But these are how the entry points. So you see the engagement between buyers and sellers. And then of course there are many other concepts like the Elliott wave and the zones where this is based. The zone where this basing is happening and the basing has given a strong breakout. So these are very, very strong evidences and very strong breakouts. And then again, you look at the volume. Look at the volume. So when these sideways movements have a lot of less volume, they are very clear. I would recommend everyone to go to my YouTube channel and see the past. There's a video on volumes and open interest. It's an amazing video, right? So you see how when the sideways movement is happening, there's very much lack of volumes, and when there's so much lack of volumes, you can easily understand that the engagement with the buyers and sellers is happening. However, not one party is overpowering the other. And when you see the area of the breakouts, these days happening, the breakout day happening, you can just really understand what the kind of volumes have started kicking in, the kind of volumes which are there, right? So this is something which is again very interesting. Uh, Okay, Gary is saying, how do you find these stock? Now, the point is, Gary, the point is that I'm telling you again, and to all of you, that you have to do your homework. Now, when I'm looking at a stock, I'm looking at for that chart, for the price as it is. I'm not looking for other people's views. I'm not looking for particularly where the rest of the sector stocks are going. I'm not looking for whether there's going to be good monsoon or less monsoon or is there any political news, etc. I'm looking at the chart for what it is. And that is from the first point of perception which you need to get into. And if you do your homework on daily basis, it will not just be, I mean, because Wipro has coming on my homework radar for the past 5 days before even it gave this kind of a move. Past 4 5 days it is on my homework radar, if not more. Because some of the evidences which I practiced on Wipro, I don't know how many of you remember, but if you just go back on this date or this date, which is the 22nd of January. Just go to 2nd of January 2019. On my Telegram, I have recommended Wipro. And this level, this zone, which it has come back to and revisited again, you can understand. I'm not saying specifically at one level, but I'm just talking about the zone, right? So a lot of evidence which I have done my analysis in the past has helped me to very easily come to this stock. Now, the thing is that because the markets are moving in so many convolutions and so many labyrinth of probabilities, it becomes very difficult for people to perceive that there could be a deep study required. And it is generally perceived that if some software or some scanner can give you a overnight, idea that okay, this is going to go in this direction or that going to go in that direction. Not really, it doesn't really work that smoothly because until you don't understand the scanner yourself, there is a little bit of gap, right? And lastly, what happens is this kind of homework when you do, I'm not even, I'm saying in the most simplest of terms what I've explained a few trades and try to capture the essence as if a student was in my first session. Even that guy could understand, right? So there are further more details, Gary, where we really go into to be able to more easily get these things on our radar while doing our homework also. Viba is asking what technicals to be followed for intraday trades and what for positional trades. Okay. Okay. Viba, first of all, I think your question is very pertinent You're asking how do I capture the idea of intraday different from positional, right? But the problem over here, Vibha, is that we have to first understand, okay, that prices are moving perpetually. Okay, number one. Number two, that if you are taking a trade at 320, which is an intraday trade, obviously it is not going to work. So if you are going to talk about the particular practical aspects, first of all, the time of the day is very important. So time of the day is very important. Some of the times the movement in the morning is very drastic movements. So if you're going for any kind of morning trades, it would definitely have to be supported by the price structure of the previous day. You can't just randomly say, okay, this is moving 2% up, so let me buy or let me sell, whatever it is. Right? And I think you anyway know that. I'm just trying to say that the preceding price data will be important. So prices are moving perpetually, number one. Number two, some of the intradays are going to have a follow through for the next few days, weeks, or even months. But is that the most strongest move? That again you have to see when you are getting back to the other time frame charts. So you use multiple time frames and you zero in into intraday trades with the same technical aspects, because technical analysis is fractal in nature. What I just showed you on Wipro, okay? If I show you on the weekly chart, this is the how the engagement is happening, right? And I can show you that the same thing on the Gale, okay? I'm not saying exactly same, but the similar thing on the Gale we saw on the daily chart, right? Again, the aspects are very similar. I'm trying to understand what I'm saying. The aspects are very similar. And on the hourly chart, there's something else. Again, aspects are very similar. So the time frame, regardless of that, the patterns and the strategies which I teach that work in every time frame. Obviously, the smaller time frame charts are a little more noisy. The daily charts are a little more clear. But small time frame charts will give you more frequent trades because more price data is there, more frequent price data is there, right? So I hope I've answered you, Vibha and Gary, both. A lot of good questions coming up today. A lot of conceptual things are coming up today, which I personally like more. Uh, Gary, this is again, it's so Gary is asking, do you recommend a weekly positional trade when there's a breakout instead of intraday? Okay. So Gary, first of all, what are the aspects and how do I superimpose one time frame over the other time frame? Because every intraday breakout is not going to be a weekly time horizon trade, right? So that is something which you need to first understand, that every breakout doesn't mean it's the same thing. Then you have things like the market sentiment, which has to do with the broader markets. I mean, when the broader markets are there, they give a cue about how strong the breadth is or if the sector is moving together. Although that's not the standpoint or the rigidity of the rules I follow, but that's I'm just trying to give you the different market phases invite different kinds of corrections. Because when you're on a weekly chart, definitely the aspects of deeper corrections, it becomes one of the question marks, right? So this kind of thing. Whole idea is to be objective. Now, most of you over here, I have not spoken to before, etc. But how many of you really feel that you have been objective with trading? Raise your hands. And how many of you really feel that, I've not really been very objective by using my hard-earned money to trade in a very objective way? Then you should definitely consider joining the 15 session course. Because I have seen turnaround stories happen right in front of my eyes, right? All right. So one person more has given their number. My team will contact you. Okay, so Gary is asking, what about the signals on the cash versus the signals on the FNO chart? Gary, I think really we need to get back to the basics with this. So first of all, in the course there is the sessions on futures and options also. So the we'll get back to that basis on this. Okay, Gary, definitely. Definitely. That way, what I will tell you in a nutshell is that when it comes to derivatives, when it comes to futures and options, they're derivatives, right? They are not particularly they are not particularly what we call the asset. The underlying asset is always the stock, and these are derivatives. These are derived from the price. Number one. Number two, the contracts are of limited period, right? So when there's a limited period contract, you cannot have a lot of price data on one chart unless it's a futures continuous chart. So these subtle things which you need to remember. But in a nutshell, you're reading the F&O, so reading the price asset, which is the underlying asset, which is the price of the stock. That is enough. That is enough. Reading that is enough, right? So read the charts and according to that, because the movements are correlated, right? So according to that, you go for the thing, basically. Okay, guys. So do we wrap up today's session? And if I have any questions, the conceptual questions I'd like to entertain. I'm talking about view. Definitely, I'll share my views. I've shared a lot of views, and some of the stocks which I have not shared about views are maybe too many views from one person, or maybe because I don't have a view anyway on it, right? Yes, absolutely. So, Jay is saying that Maruti is now. Oh wow, this is amazing. Wow, this is amazing. The positional trade is working out so beautifully on Maruti. You can just look at how bombastic this move is, right? And where was the recommendation spoken about? Over here. So you see there's a up move, there's a tight consolidation, and a further release of this, which is excellent. Thank you so much, Jay, for the update. That's excellent. Yeah. So this is what we do, and of course, I'm sharing just one of the aspects. The other aspects over here, which are related to the particular stock analysis which we have done, right? It is not just about one analysis, right? It is not just about a narrow set of things. It's a very wide range of analysis which is to be done. So this is what I'd recommend everyone, that you learn and you take up a wide range of stocks and you take up a wide range of tools and see how the things overlap and what magic it creates, right? So that is something which is going to be very essential for your growth and your journey as a trader. This is something which everybody needs to realize, right? Any questions, guys? Any questions? There's a lot of action happening in the market. Any questions? There's bullish action happening in the market. I mean, just speaking of it, just few minutes back we're talking about. Although the confirmations of certain trades have not been immediately coming, but yeah, if the smaller time frames we consider, I'm sure a lot of people, especially in my student criteria category, have been taking trades over today, right? C8 was again one of the student I'd recommended. C8 in the morning was a good morning trade. Yeah, C8 is showing some firepower which could continue, and this is one of my views because of one of the students who recommended this, and we've been excellently practicing. The student has been excellently practicing. Right. Dr. Reddy, as such, I don't have any view on. I'm not tracking the stock currently, but I was looking at some of the other pharma stocks. I think Ajanta Pharma could we need to wait for a few days. Could give us some interesting signal. Glenmark was something interesting today morning, but again, is it following through or what is the situation? I don't know. We need to wait for more price data to come in some places. So I like to keep my stock radar little wide, but it is not so wide that I'm covering like every little stock, right? So it gives me more room to think clearly about a few, or rather that few is not so few also, but it gives me room to think about things more clearly rather than hurrying myself into different ideas. Right? The course fees is 12,500 rupees. Nageshuji, this course fee is 12,500 rupees. I again say, please just send your number. My team will get back to you with all the details of the course, timings, days, course material content, the facilities which are provided after the course. All kinds of details will be given to you. You just send your number here. My team will catch up with you within today. So, stars of the day, Maruti again, right? Guys, okay, okay, yes, you're already in that WhatsApp group, fine, not an issue. And can we sell a stock on a higher high? I mean, a higher high. So, Swapnil, with due respects, my friend, we are talking about following the trend. So if there's a higher high, it is telling me that there's a very strong trend present, and that is why it is making a higher high. If it's a bullish trend, then why do we sell a stock? Or are you talking about selling an existing position, or are you talking about selling a position which is a fresh position? I'm not getting you, Swapna. No, 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 Swapnil. That would be too aggressive. Yeah, so you're trying to, as Nikhil is saying, you're trying to uh, preempt a reversal of the trend, which is not something which is recommended. So if there's something which is going higher high, making higher highs, what is the easier trade, as I told you all? What is the easier trade for everyone over here? Let me find short. Let me expect the market to go short. That's not how it's going to work, because the market tends to trend. The price tends to go higher if it is already trending high, right? Now we need to understand where are those trends reliable, and because if we can understand where those trends are reliable, we can ride on any one of those trends. So rather than trying to catch the reversal, you need to learn how to ride the trend. And it also has a lot of psychological repercussion on the kind of trading you're doing. So I would recommend you not to go against the trend, because if you are doing things against the trend, it is going to create bad behavioral habits. And I think you should, in that case, if that you feel is already a bad habit, then you don't take that style of trade. Stop trading for some time. Relax. I think I suggest you learn. You can join my course, and then you can reverse your way of thinking and your habit patterns. Is it right to buy a stock when it is made a new high? Viva is asking. Sort of a converse question to it. I'm not saying Viva it is not right. I'm saying that the context of how strong the trend is will always be gotten to know by us when we are analyzing the past and the left side of the chart. So the point is to see where these trends are more reliable, right? It is not just about, okay, it's made a higher high, so we can expect something immediately. Where those trends are reliable. I mean, if I just put this question in a different way, what if something makes a higher high and gives a little bit of correction? Is it good to buy? So the point is, if there's a trend which is strong, it is good to buy at every point. But if it is not an uptrend, or if it is not strong, reliable, it is not coming, if it is not a fresh trend, also you have to note that trends, when they are fresh, at that time it is better to go long or go short on whatever the direction of the trend is, because those are the fresh trades where you see, risking your money on something high probability is important, and the other thing is risking your money on something which is going to be uh, a bigger magnitude of reward than what you are risking. So you need to go into the fresh trends. Uh, Nikhil is asking, I guess from the previous interaction point, one can take action. So Nikhil, the point is, yes, if you find that, okay, fine, this is approaching a resistance, right? It is not enough. It is just one of the evidences. And I tell you, there's a way to do it. I would highly recommend you to join the course. I think last time you wanted to join the course also. There, what it is doing, and what are the aspects of it being over there at that point is very important. That's a more further detailed analysis, and also in that analysis, there's a prospect that there's trades can be aggressive if you're trying to say that okay, this is the point where the market came yesterday. Let me go and short over here because it fell from there. It could be very aggressive in certain cases, and then we want outlook for that. Right? So Apne says really thanks for the mentality which I today I cleared just lot of love. Thank you so much, Swapnil. Very nice of you. But also, Swapnil, I would say you send in your number, take the course details. Okay, take the course details. You join, you don't join, it's a different matter. But the point is, 15 sessions is a full-fledged way where people who have approached me till now, a lot of them have come from a lot of mental space, which is a very disturbed mental space with the market. And not just the trading strategies, but changing those behavior and thinking patterns has been one of the important aspect. I've been giving personal psychological consultancy to some of very professional traders I know. So the psychology needs to be in place. You need to understand your mind and yourself very, very well and be selective with the markets. Risk your money at the right places in the right trending spaces, and you see how the magic will unfold if you adopt and if you embrace a change, right? So I think some people have given their numbers. My team will get in touch with you. Thank you so much, everybody, for your nice gestures and your kind time, precious time. And I'm going to look forward to definitely see all of you in the next session and some of you in my 15 session course, which is going to be something which is very interesting, right? One of the stocks which I'm getting on my radar, again, I will talk about is Aisha Motors, right? So this is how I do my homework, and this is how it tends to be. Just one second, just log Aisha Motors, right? So this is again on my radar, and this is again coming out of a very now these are the fresh trades. These are the fresh trades. Okay. So just to tell all of you. So guys, for the day, I think we will call it a day. My view on LNT is little bearish, Jerome. I just discussed it a few minutes back, and a little bit I'm running out of time. There's some views which are coming in last moment. SDFC, bank, and this thing. Now, guys, one of the things is because too many views are coming, no, market has moved right now. So if you want me to give something objective, I will need to look back on every trade, look back on everything, which will take some time. I think we will call it a day for today. Last moment when LNT, I have already explained, and which is like it's broken all the support areas, and HDFC Bank as somebody requested. Again, this is something which I have no view on because I don't have a view on this since last one day also. Okay, guys. So just keeping it short and simple. I'll take your leave, and thank you so much for being there today. It was a great, awesome session which I had, and all this will be available on YouTube. So do catch up with it, and thank you for those who have shown interest in the course. Looking forward to see you soon. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have fun. Enjoy. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Enjoy.